as a citizen, I know you said a lot of these projects have been from way back when. Is there any forum, or is when someone owns land, that's just it? Or is there a forum for citizens to come and, there are a lot of really good ideas out there and maybe ways of thinking that others haven't thought. How do people get involved? It's one thing to be angry or voice your opinion, but I believe it's about doing something if you believe in it. So how would one get involved, or for the next project, or as the other side of the lake develops, which I know is on the agenda, and so what can we do? Yeah. What can you offer for advice?
Great questions. Okay, so couple ways. First of all of these projects that we talked about have a public process. They go before Planning Commission. They have to kind of show what they're going to do. Our Planning Commission screens them, pushes on them, tries to reflect the values that they share, which when they're appointed that, the idea is they reflect your values. So, so they go through that process. Those are also public meetings where public comment is allowed to be given. A lot of times people come in and say, I don't like this part, or I really like that part, and they have an opportunity to do that. Then it goes to the next level, which is the Planning Commission then often forwards on recommendations to the council, and the council has a public process for that. So that happens in certain situations. In other situations, we have a hearings examiner process where the hearings examiner is basically a judge. Is presented the subdivision or the project or whatever it is, and his job is to say, here are the current city rules for development. Does this project meet those rules? So those are the two processes we use to make sure we get it right. The opportunity then is to say, well, are our rules right? Do we need to work on that? Are there some things we need to change or to make better? And that happens all the time through Planning Commission and through City Council. The lake subdivision, it's not called that, I'm forgetting the name right now, but anyway, that was one that had a great deal of passion behind it, and the chambers were filled, I think, on at least 2 occasions with residents that had some concerns, that didn't like the fact that there was going to be a development, and they were the ones that surrounded the development. And so we heard from them, and we tried to reflect as much as we could of some of their concerns into the final product. So yes, there are public opportunities for people to be involved. And that's on the specific project level. The second opportunity is actually getting ready to come up. And every 6 years, we have to update what's called our comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan is part of the Growth Management Act, and it says, City of Camas, and every city, you will determine how you want to look. You show us where your residential housing is going to go. You show us where your commercial developments are going to go. You show us where your industrial developments go. Show us where your parks are going to go. Show us all that. So you adopt this, and you go through a community-wide process where people are we'll have a tent out at Camas Days, and you can go out and go to them and talk to our folks and say, oh, I wish we had more of this, and I think we need this, and boy, it'd be great if there was a grocery store over here, or I wish there was, all these different ideas that a lot of people have. The comprehensive planning process is your opportunity to really get those thoughts in. Staff will then tabulate that information, bring back recommendations, and then that will eventually be adopted by the City Council, and that will govern our growth for the next 6 years. So when someone comes in and says, I want to build a 40-story multifamily complex right here, we can look at our zoning map and say, actually, that's reserved for retail space. So you can't do that project here. That's not authorized in our growth plan. So this year, this next 6 months, 8 months, is a really great opportunity to look at Camas kind of from a bird's eye view and really be involved in what will Camas look like in 5-10 years.
So I'm assuming there's more than just a tent at Camas Days. How else, where is someone going to go give their opinion or their input or what they'd like to see? Where are they going to do that?
There'll be lots of community outreach. The first one will happen at Camas Days at a tent there, but there will be public meetings that will be scheduled. There'll be a community questionnaire that will get circulated. There will be an opportunity for a citizens advisory group to be formed, and we're just in the process now of forming that group. So some folks are kind of being brainstormed to be added to that. I'm guessing by the time this gets seen, it might be filled, but I'm telling you that if you know anybody, you can give us their names, and we can see if that might be something that works for them. And then through the next 6 months, there'll be those opportunities. Then those reports and information will be gathered and presented to the Planning Commission. That's another public meeting where you can give your input, and then the council will also see that information. That'd be another. So there, if you choose to be engaged in planning the city's future, you can be right now. So.
When you talk about those planning meetings and the hearings and such, I know that that's not like a big sign somewhere, because I haven't. So how,
Right.
before the development's going in, am I going online? Is there a way we could reach more people? I don't know if it's trying to be on the down low, or if it, what's on the website, is that information there, or where can somebody go to be ahead of the game? Because it's too late once they're tearing into the ground. It's already been decided, I know.
So there's a couple tools we use. One of them is if there's ever any proposal that's happening, for like say a development, the state mandates that the city sends letters to a certain circumference of there. I can't remember if it's 300 feet or 500 feet. I don't remember.
Of the development?
That are adjacent to the development. So the neighbors are notified. Hey, there's something coming forward. There's a planning commission meeting for this. For you, if you have interest or you want to hear about it, that's there. The other tool that we do, and you see these around town if you're looking, and that's part of the problem too, you got to really notice, is we put big 4x8 signs up on the side of the street that says proposed development, and we usually put those up 2 to 3 months before it's going to get its hearing. And so if you're driving by and you see one of those signs, that's a time to say, oh, something's about to happen. So those are two kind of, not arbitrary, but ways that we use. The other thing is paying attention to city council agendas. Those are in the newspapers, every week. And you can see Post-Record as well as the Columbian says, public meeting tonight, here's what they're talking about. And those are like back in the legal descriptions. A lot of times I usually skip those parts. I'm looking at the fun stories and stuff, but they're buried in there. You can go find those and you can see, oh, this is what they're talking about. We have all our meetings and our agendas put online, both video and the minutes, and so you can always go and see what's happening. And then, just coming down, talking to the planning department, they'd be happy to tell you about things that are going on. But so because the way the process works, we never really know for sure when something's going to come forward. I mean, you can see a piece of property and say, yeah, probably at some point that's going to develop. But it's really just whenever the owner is ready. And so they do all the work. Sometimes they'll come in and do a pre-meeting with staff. So we'll get an idea, oh, they're getting close, they're getting ready. But until they officially turn in the proposal, that's when the clock starts for their rights, and that's when the clock starts for us to start doing our stuff about informing the community and going through the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of great information. I really appreciate it. I know that I've called down to the city before about questions that I've seen what's going on, and very helpful. I get calls back really quickly. I guess what I'm going to put out there is I don't mind being an advocate for this, and if I hear of a meeting or there's something going on, I will post that on my Facebook page. I will try and get the word out, because it sounds like you kind of have to look a little bit for it. So if we can work together, I think the more input and voices that can be heard on these type of things would be great. So I would love to help spread the word on that. So one thing I struggle with, I've seen some deer and some bunnies lately that have lost their homes, and the wildlife in Camas is amazing. I mean, the deers eat my roses, and it frustrates me, but it's pretty cool to see them walk down in my yard. So, it is change and there is growth, but I'm hoping that if we can give some input and help keep the balance here in Camas so that we're a community of growth, but again, not losing focus of the beautiful country we live in and are surrounded by, it would be great.